Welcome back to Runiverse. I'm Andrew, and today I'm playing Apothecaria solo potion making RPG. This is part 3 of my playthrough of the campaign. We're going into the 4th week of spring, each week being a customer with an ailment needing us to brew them a potion. You're welcome to join me, but if you want to catch up from the beginning, link to the playlist is in the description. I got a little pond for Fizzy, my frog familiar. We are in the woods here in the middle. And we've got a log of some important experiences there. But if you want more of a recap than that, then check out the previous episodes, rewatch them if you already watched them but don't remember. And let's go ahead and see who's our next customer. I am a novice witch after replacing the previous witch who's gone missing. So I'm going to pull a card and find out what my customer's ailment is here on this novice ailments table. Pull a card, and it is it's actually our first Joker of the campaign. And look at that cute little squirrel. So, this is that moment I've been waiting for. What a nice way to kick off an episode. I'm kind of running short on time, but I wanted to record. So I don't know how long this is going to be, but I'm glad we got off with a bang. So we're going to do something new. We haven't done this yet. We're going to put this ailment on hold. Or we're probably going to be juggling a few ideas right now. Because now we're going to go over to the search. Keeping one's eyes and ears open can make such a difference to the story. A casual stroll through the forest might reveal, for better or worse, something more than you were expecting. Each time you draw a joker, you find a clue about what happened to the old witch, the one we're replacing, the one who left us all these notes about herbs and ailments. So, we're going to pull another card to find out the first steps. We're going to find a clue on the first steps table. And my plan currently, we'll see how fast this pace puts us through the campaign, but I'm planning to pull from the first steps during spring and hopefully get about 3 of them. And then summer we'll do the About the Witch page. Fall we'll do the Plot Thickens. And in winter, any jokers we pull will be from the finale page. And at the end of winter, or whenever I kind of feel like it, we will have determined what happened to the witch and the campaign will be over. Every season though is 13 weeks, and so far in 2 40-minute episodes, which is more than double that in recording time, I've only gone through 3 weeks. Now I did do a lot of extra stuff that wasn't strictly Apothecaria, but I'm hoping to pick up the pace significantly. But let's see. Anyway, this is how we take so long, as I'm just rambling so much. Joker, first steps. Let's pull a card. A 9, you find out the witch supported a magic sports team. What was the sport and what was the team? So we learned about the witch. That doesn't seem like we found out much has happened to her. And I'm going to put a pin in that. I'm going to juggle that because I'm going to determine my ailment as well as who the customer with this ailment is. And I'm thinking maybe they're the ones who come to us with this information that we've just learned about the old witch. So I'm going to pull another card to determine their ailment. And this time it is a 6, which is they've been frogified. After some clever clog wrote a story about kissing a frog and getting a prince, witches have had to deal with a flood of hopeless romantics getting warty lips and poisoned. Consequence is their rush to the village doctor, lose a reputation. That would happen if we fail to cure them within the timer. This one has a timer of 6. So I'm going to mark 6 on my timer. Actually, I think I like to use blue for the timer. And I'm going to need ingredients that can deal with wart and poison. So our previous customer had photothropy. During the full moon, they turn into a hamster, a monstrous hamster. But this person's been frogified. This person is just entirely a frog. So did they come to us in frog form, or did someone bring them? Like, hey, please help my friend here, or family member or whatever, who is now a frog. Do they come to us on their own, or are they brought to us? Again, I don't know. Apothecaria rules would have me decide. I would make it up. In fact, you don't even have to figure out who your customer is in the first place. But part of the reason I spend so long on this is I want to know, and I don't want to make it up. Well, I'll fill in the blanks. But let's roll in Table of Fables. Let's see the gender of the person with my modified gender roll. Gender roll. 7 is a female coming to us. Again, I've got my frog dice too to match our theme. Although this customer is extra thematic, this is just matching my familiar. Is a female? Is it a female customer directly? Is the frog person a female, or is the female the one bringing this frog person to us? Let's check the age. 3 is old. Let's roll the occupation. 10 is a tutor. Interesting. Alignment is fun. Lawful neutral. Strictly academic. And sure, I'm actually going to roll on sexuality this time. 5 is homosexual. So maybe an older woman, a tutor, has brought her, not girlfriend, this says kissing a frog and getting a prince. But who would want to become a frog? Well, this is just a poison. Frogified doesn't mean turned into a frog. It just means you kissed a frog and got warty lips and poisoned. All right, I think I'm just going to change that to what I thought it was because now I already have this story brewing. Maybe. All right, one more roll on romantic status. 3 is in love. So the older lady, I mean, the age categories here are young, mature, old, and venerable. Is that like 10, 30, 50, 70? So maybe it's an older lady, a tutor. She's approximately 15 years old. She's a lesbian, and she's in love. Maybe it's a student of hers, someone she's tutoring. Maybe she's tutoring her in magic of some kind, which is how this younger girl, younger woman, I'm going to roll on her age as well. I feel like she's younger, though. I don't want to... 3 is also old. I'm going to fudge that. I'm going to say she's like 25. And in the tutoring, she actually fell in love with her tutor, the older woman. And the tutor fell in love back, but she respected the situation and there's a huge age gap, and she just rejected the romance even though they both had feelings. And so the student turned herself into a frog using something that she's learned from the tutor with the hope that the tutor would have to kiss her to return her, and that was going to be some kind of romantic gesture. It's a bit more of a teenager, brash, stupid thing to do, though. So maybe the student is a kid. Now I'm making up a bunch more stuff because if they're like turning into witches and teaching magic, I feel like they might be from Selwyn, our character's hometown. She's actually up off the map here, up in Thahad village. Because where else would they be teaching the type of magic that you could turn into frogs and stuff? Which means Selwyn knows these people. Maybe this girl who's turned herself into a frog is a direct peer. She's also about 20 years old, kind of straddling that older and younger thing. And they've traveled down from Thahad village to Selwyn, not because she's the best, because there's probably older, more practiced witches in Thahad, but because they know she has the old witch's book. We've got all this information and knowledge, and we are closer to all these more potent magical herbs, being near Glimmerwood Grove and whatnot. And when I say they, it's actually just the tutor who's carried this frog girl down for help. And they come bearing knowledge about the old witch. This tutor, that makes sense that she would know her because the old witch is also from Thahad, according to the backstory I made up. So they must have known each other, and maybe they both participated in this magical sport. Maybe the magical sport involves you turning yourself into a frog and have some kind of hopping contest, but no one does it anymore because of the risks of getting stuck and having to come down to this region to collect the necessary herbs to return when you do perform the spell incorrectly. Okay, so this is a very convoluted story, but interesting. I think we just need names for the two women. I've got my syllables chart for naming. Do the tutor first, the older lady. 43 is ik. 4 means we roll again. 73 is ra, and 6 plus the 1 is 7 means we definitely stop. So Ikra, that's a fine name. So Ikra, the witch tutor. And the girl who's now a frog, 12 is A's, and I rolled a 6, which means it is a single syllable name. We stop now. I think that's a fine name, just A's. The young witch student suitor, or with a crush. I'll just put in parentheses, she's 20, same age as Selwyn. So not too young. And we learned about our sports. We learned a little bit about the old witch from Ikra, probably played this game with her. What's the name of that sport? Frog hopping? Frogger? That's awful. All right, I'm going to say that they had a pond near Thahad, or it's probably still there, full of lily pads and frogs, but they would play some kind of variant of soccer with like a small floating ball, and they could hop around on the lily pads to hit the ball around. Maybe you could swim, but you're not allowed to hit the ball while swimming. You can only hit the ball if you're on a lily pad, and that's called pond ball. And the old witch was great at it, and that's our first clue somehow about her. Now we can actually look for the ingredients we need to cure this ailment. Again, we need to cure wart and poison with a timer of 6. is going to be taking place over the course of a week, as always. All right, so we're going to go to the lock first. Meltwater lock, and we're looking for smooth croak. These colorful frogs are so unbelievably smooth that I had to put up signs reminding visitors not to stroke them. Sure, it makes your skin baby soft, but it really hurts the frog. Use wet gloves for this one. Mucus can be boiled for warts, or it can be distilled for skin. So we're going to boil it in our cauldron to deal with the warts issue. After we have found this, it has a forage value of 2 in the lock, so should be easy. We get to travel there for free. So my game plan will then be to spend a timer point to travel to Hero's Hollow, where I will search for a skullcap mushroom in the dungeon. In the Hero's Hollow, it has a forage value of 2, so those should be some easy finds. And then hopefully I'll have time to travel to the Strange and look for weird water again, just like I did last time, because it can deal with any tag. Sleep is surprisingly hard to deal with, and I don't need sleep, but Fizzy has carbonated dark water secretions, and we can make another version of our dark water delight, adding this component, which adds 3 points of sweet but causes sleep, but the 3 points of sweet add to the flavor, which means our customer will pay extra. So that's if we have time. And if we run out of time while looking for the weird water, then we'll have to abandon it, but that's fine as long as we get those first 2 first. So we get to go to first location for free. We go to Meltwater Lock without spending any time, and we're looking for smooth croak. So I'm going to flip a card. I just need a 2 or more. Should be super easy. Everything but an ace will do it. However, I forgot that what I wanted to do is I haven't been shuffling between sessions. I've been keeping the deck the same all the time. And what I want to do, though, now that I have drawn 1 joker, I'm going to go ahead and now I'm going to reshuffle it to go back to the full odds of being able to pull a joker. And I don't know, the rules don't really tell you when or how much to shuffle necessarily, but I figure if I just go until I find a joker and then reshuffle as soon as I've found one, that gives me the best odds to find the most jokers and keep the game, or helping find more clues more often, I suppose. So we're shuffled back up, and I just need a 2. King will do it. And this is, I think, the second time we have foraged in the lock. So we'll go to the events table. We got a 2 or higher, so we found our smooth croak, but we also have to resolve an event with that king. And it says, Bàs Bàta, whoa, rises from the depths. Its crimson scales glistening in the sunlight. It roars so loudly you feel your bones vibrate. You notice that it has a shattered tooth that reeks of infection. If you can make 10 spare potions that treat shattered tooth, you can calm it down. In the meantime, how do you escape the beast? Decrease your timer by 1. So 6 goes down to 5. Well, that's easy. We're experts at dark water delight here with Fizzy being able to produce carbonated, delicious dark water. So Bàs Bàta, there's actually a picture. There we go. So this is Bàs Bàta. We're probably around on the beach messing with the frogs, and it roars up out of the lock. We're like somewhere around here, foraging on a little shoreline. It splashes out and just roars straight in Selwyn's face. And that's how we can see, probably the breath smells terrible from the infection, and the tooth just looks awful and cracked. Its roar lasts several seconds as Selwyn regains her composure and looks at it, shielding her eyes from the saliva and halitosis. And I think without letting go of Fizzy, she's going to take Fizzy in her hand and put him onto the gums right above the tooth, and just to give him a little bit of Novocaine. And so the sleeping potion that Fizzy secretes just provides a little bit of numbing, a little bit of calm, and Bàs Bàta looks down, backs up, and slithers back down into the water. And Selwyn knows her quest. 10 spare potions that treat shattered tooth. This is an advanced ailment. Pain, teeth, and infection. A fall, a punch, trying to open a tin with their teeth. The people of Hyrenic seem to be researching all the possible ways to break one's teeth. The afflicted is just the latest. So we don't have to deal with the consequence or the timer. We just need to be able to do pain, teeth, and infection. So in between dealing with other customers, there is technically downtime when you can do other things. Do extra foraging. You can go to the village. There's like village events you can do. We haven't done that yet. So I'm going to have to make a point to start using some of those game features and get some extra ingredients to try to eventually cure Bàs Bàta. Bàs Bàta's shattered tooth, pain, teeth, and infection. I don't remember if the stars matter. Because I can collect the reagents at different times from each other, I don't have to brew them all at once like I normally would for a customer. I've made 6 bars, and then they're kind of imaginary columns where I can just mark that I have the reagent I need. That over here, probably off screen for now, slightly behind my face. I also had to spend a time because I got that ingredient, and now I have to spend a time traveling from the lock to the hollow. And now I'm going to forage for the skull cap. These morbid little mushrooms look almost exactly like shrunken human skulls. When they spore, the jaw breaks open and releases the crowd like a cough. Can be crushed for poison, and it's a dungeon value, a forage value of 2. That's where we're at. +3 in winter, but that doesn't apply. So they're harder to find in the winter. Just need a 2. We got an 8, so we got it. Hero's Hollow event on an 8 says someone has changed the puzzle room again. Write down whatever convoluted form the puzzle takes, and write the solution you use to get past. What's the puzzle room? All right, let's use this Table of Fables Notabilities and Peculiarities D100 Dungeon Features table and see if that inspires a puzzle idea. 70 says there is porous stone. The dungeon was made from a unique porous stone, the likes of which the character has never seen. The stone seems to smother all magical spells and abilities. Maybe this room contains some of the dark water that we know flows around the dungeon. It's kind of our theme. Maybe it's not dark water, but it's some kind of magical liquid. And when we walk into the room, these porous stone doors shut behind us, but there's some kind of intricate markings on some of the doors or in some features around the room, like a pedestal or something like that. And basically, we have to either scoop it up or use some kind of container, or maybe there's a way to divert the flow of water. But by putting this magical water flowing into some of these crevices or markings or containers, the porous stone absorbs the water, absorbs the magic, and that magic is able to reopen the doors. So that is my idea for the puzzle. We got the ingredient. The timer goes down by 1, which means if I want to try to get the weird water, I've got to go to the strange, which means I'd have to spend a time moving. And then I would flip a card as a forage value of 10. So I would have to get a 10 or better. Face cards are 10. Jack, Queen, King. So 10 Jack, Queen, King. 4 out of 13 would do it. Doesn't seem like great odds. And if I fail, the timer will reach 0 and I would suffer the consequences of not curing our customer in time. We'd lose reputation. So I don't see anything else that cures sleep. So I think I'm going to have, or at least not in the hollow. So I'm going to have to not risk it. Not going into the strange, and we're just going to go back. We're going to brew the potion, and it's not going to be as delicious as we normally like it to be, although we do have a beehive, which I bought, so we can at least add 1 sweet to it. We can use that 4 times per season. That's my second one for spring. Adding sweet means our potion is worth 4 more silver, and because it's a novice ailment, it is worth 20 silver base. So we get 24 silver as our payment for curing A's. She turns back into a human and promptly gets a swift berating from Ikra. Imagine she just immediately starts lashing out at her as they immediately start walking back up the path toward Nenawaste and then farther north up around to the Had village. But I think as angry as Ikra is, Ace is probably just beaming, happy to be in her company. They still have a awkward situation to work through for them. Happily collect my $25. I have 68. I spent 50 on a wand. On a beehive. I think the next thing I need to do is get a wand though. There's some reagents that I cannot collect unless I have a wand. That'll definitely be useful, especially for sleep. So that's going to be 100. So I'm going to be saving up for that. I'm reading the rules on downtime, but I'm honestly a little bit confused. It says between ailments, you have time to do as you please. If you want to explore, visit the village, or spend time with characters you've met, make a timer with 6 segments. Each action decreases the timer by 1. You can forage to ensure you have extra stuff, which would be nice for Bàs Bàta's shattered tooth. But you decrease the timer normally, the way we normally would. Basically, you just have 6 time points during a downtime. But honestly, from the gamer perspective, in order to like maximize the game system, I should always spend time collecting reagents in between encounters because the rules allow me to, but it sounds like grinding work that's actually not that fun for a role-playing type of thing. So I don't love the system the way it's presented here, because I would have to try to balance my own internal strategy gamer with wanting to just like have fun and not be grinding out resources all the time. But it continues to say, during ailments without a timer, you can explore at your leisure, but taking more than 13 turns will cause you to lose reputation. So is it between ailments or is it during ailments? That's what's confusing me, because I just had an ailment with a timer, so I don't know. And I kind of want to make up my own system because I do need to be able to forage in between ailments or I'll never make progress here. But I also don't really want to use this system because of the reasons I just went over. So what I'm thinking is that I'm gonna just give myself 6 time, no matter what, timed or untimed ailment. The ailment is over. This is in between ailments. I get 6 time. I'm gonna do just foraging. I'm not gonna do events because this is gonna happen off camera. And unless I get a joker. If I get a joker, then we will find a clue about the old witch. Otherwise, I'm just going to forage. So the Shattered Tooth ailment has 3 stars and pain, which means I don't think I would be allowed to use the skull cap because the skull cap can cure pain, but only has 1 star, so it's not as efficacious as, for example, the vampire venom, which has 3 stars. It can be found in the dungeon with a forage value of 10 and can be added raw for pain and mood. So I think I'm going to go out and I'm just going to try to find as much vampire venom as I can get. I need 6 of them eventually. So let's go into the Hero's Hollow. First move is free, and I'm going to be looking for 10 or higher. 2 will not do it. Move down to 5. Joker. Okay. We actually find another clue about the old witch. It's still spring, so let's go to the first steps again. And Jack says, someone or something mistakes you for the old witch and makes you their favorite dish. What's in it and how does it taste? Well, because I'm currently foraging in Hero's Hollow, we've met one person in Hero's Hollow, and that was Mayat Darkeye, the Lord of the Dungeon. She is a fire-breathing salamander humanoid, I believe, and she is interested in us because we're replacing the old witch, who presumably was well-liked or well-regarded. We're the one taking her place, and Mayat Darkeye has shown interest in us already, inviting us to dinner, opening the strange portal for us, and buttering us up for something, including now this dinner, this meal. Here in Table Fables, I was using Table Fables too some of those times, but food. 42, breakfast, lunch, dinner, beverages, sweets, and spices. All right, this is 20, 40, 60, 80. If I want to do randomly from among all of them, I could do a D4 and then a D20. And we got 3 is going to be the third table, which is dinner. And a 7 is garlic shrimp over rice. That's also at a food quality and a spice. 4 means it is disgusting. And it is covered in pepper. Garlic shrimp over rice. And it's just covered in pepper. I guess the old witch liked it spicy. A little bit Cajun. Maybe it's not actually disgusting. It's just unpleasant to Selwyn's palate, who particularly likes sweet things. So we learned something else about the old witch, and that she likes peppery garlic shrimp. And just kind of plugging some of the threads together to mix my metaphor, Mayat Darkeye opened the portal to the strange, and I said at the time that she probably wanted to see what we would do, put us a little bit in her debt, and it just likes to treat mortals or non-dungeon royalty as playthings. So, and then in the strange, we met the demon queen, Senliana, who offered us the opportunity to buy a house in the strange for 1,000 silver, but she'll give us a discount of 50 every time we bring her magnetic measurements of the material plane that we live in, which is suspicious. So I wonder if there's a connection between Mayat Darkeye and Senliana, and that's why Mayat put us in contact with her in the first place, and maybe she brought us dinner and she wants to talk about, so how did your visit to the strange go, and things like that. She's fishing for something. She has an agenda. All right, and because I got a joker, I'm going to go ahead and reshuffle. I'm going to redraw my foraging value. That is a jack. So jack would be a 10. And I always forget because I've never actually used it. But the first time when I failed, I should have gotten 1 foraging point. But because Vampire Venom has a foraging value of 10, that number would have to reach up to 10. And because I'm on a timer of 6, that would never actually happen. So unless I get special abilities that like double my foraging or something like that, that's just not going to be relevant with a foraging value of 10. But jack means I find 1. And I'm going to reduce the timer down to 4. Let's add a tally here. I've got 1 pain herb. Let's pull again, 7. Go down to 3. King. That'll get me a second one. Go down to 2. A 5 is a no. And another joker. I'm going to skip it because I just did it. But I will reshuffle after this. A 7 is another no. So timer's out. The next week will be beginning. We found 2 Vampire Venom. Still got a ways to go toward completing 6 Shattered Tooth remedies. And even though that was a single week, my goal is to do like at least 3 per video. But I'm going to have to figure out how to go faster than that. So that is it for now. We got to meet some more interesting people. Some of our people we knew from the Hod Village came to visit. We made some money. We encountered Bàs Bàta. Got a Cajun shrimp dinner from my Dark Eye in the dungeon. And that was an interesting continuation of Selwyn's journey. So thanks for watching. Tune in next time for week 5 and beyond. Thanks for subscribing, and bye.